Thank you, Travis. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to tonight's regional news. We begin with a story from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In St. Vincent, a judge has sentenced a Castellavia who knew he was HIV positive when he raped a 9-year-old girl in March 2018 to more than 22 years in jail. Justice Brian Cottle imposed a 22 years and 10 months jail term on 46-year-old Lavia after a jury on May 6 returned unanimously guilty verdicts on 1 count of unlawful sexual intercourse and 2 counts of indecent assault of the child. The judge sentenced Lavia to 2 years and 4 months in each count of the indecent assault charges, but ordered that they run concurrent to the longer sentence. The High Court heard that on March 7, 2018, the child was molested by Lavia over a 2-day period and threatened her not to tell anyone, but she informed her father and her class teacher, who then reported the matter to the principal and the police. During his interrogation, Castellavia admitted interfering with the child, but said he had not penetrated her. He told investigators that he knew he was unwell and did not wish to infect the child with his illness. A doctor who examined the child reported no evidence of internal trauma. In mitigation, Lavia, who did not have a lawyer, told the court that he was sorry and apologized for his actions. The judge, in handing down the sentence, said he noted that Lavia did not benefit from secondary education and had been working as a landscaper and gardener. He said unlawful sexual intercourse with a girl under the age of 13 carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment, and that the crime committed on a 9-year-old child is Category 1 or exceptional offense. Now for some international news. Shootings in 3 American cities killed 9 people and wounded 24 more on Saturday night and Sunday morning, the latest outbreaks of gun violence in the wake of 3 mass shootings that have rattled the United States. In Philadelphia, a confrontation between 2 men escalated into a gunfight that sprayed bullets into a crowded bar and restaurant district, killing 3 people, wounding 12, and setting off panic as people tried to flee, police said. Similarly, shooting broke out after midnight near a bar in Tennessee after midnight on Saturday, killing 3 people and wounding 14, according to the police. In yet another shooting in the early hours of Sunday, 3 people were killed and 2 wounded in Michigan. Unlike the other 2 cases which affected bystanders unconnected to the shooting, all 5 of the people in the Michigan shooting were involved in the incident, police said. No suspects were reported in custody as of Sunday evening in any of the shootings. We tell you now that the Biden administration has made a final decision to exclude the governments of Cuba and Venezuela from the Summit of the Americas. People familiar with the matter said, despite threats from Mexico's president to skip the gathering unless all countries in the Western Hemisphere were invited. The decision, which followed weeks of intense deliberations, risks and embarrassing boycott of the U.S.-hosted gathering this week in Los Angeles if Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez and some other leaders chose not to show up. U.S. officials determined that concerns about the human rights and lack of democracies in those countries, Washington's main antagonists in Latin America, weighed too heavily against inviting them, a Washington-based source said late Sunday. And finally, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson will face a no-confidence vote Monday that would oust him from power as discontent with his rule finally threatens to topple a politician who has often seemed invincible despite many scandals. To remain in office, Johnson needs to win the backing of a simple majority of the 359 Conservative lawmakers. If he doesn't, the party will choose a new leader who will also become Prime Minister. The charismatic leader, renowned for his ability to connect with voters, has recently struggled to turn the page on revelations that he and his staff repeatedly held boozy parties that flouted the COVID-19 restrictions they imposed on others. Still, with no clear frontrunner to succeed Johnson, most political observers think he will defeat the challenge and remain Prime Minister. It is also a sign of deep conservative divisions, less than 3 years after Johnson led the party to its biggest election victory in decades. Since then, Johnson has led Britain out of the European Union, and through a pandemic, both which have shaken the UK socially and economically. The vote comes as Johnson's government is under intense pressure to ease the pain of skyrocketing energy and food bills. Conservative Party official Graham Bradley announced Monday that he had received letters calling for a no-confidence vote from at least 54 Tory legislators, enough to trigger the measure under the party rules. He said the vote would take place in the House of Commons on Monday evening, with the result announced soon after. That has brought us to the end of tonight's regional news. Thank you for watching, and back to you, Travis.